Morning. Today we will be looking on communication. So, as a part of UGC net preparation, communication is an important and simple unit where most of the specialized people are good in this area. Right? For example, English subject, commerce, management, right? Most of the subject communication used to be a part. In most of the subjects, communication used to be in. So that's why people used to think it's too easy. Too easy. In some most of the questions seems to be relevant. The terms which they use are highly flexible and known terms. That's why what people used to do, they used to leave this subject beside and at last they will go through. So this is where we are making mistake. Even though the known subjects has to be have to be gone through, have to be thorough. Yes. So the communication subject, particular unit, we need to concentrate in depth so that we can click 5 out of 5 correct answers. So definitely there is to be 5% from communication alone. Right? So that's what we are going to focus today. Right? So the syllabus which is given by NTA, UGC NTA is under the unit 4 communication. It has 4 parts. So out of 4 parts, we can expect 5%. We can expect 5%. The first part is general introduction about communication. What do you mean by communication? What are the different types of communication and characteristics of communication? Right? It seems to be too general, the first part. Right? What is this? The meaning of communication? Everyone knows, and types, verbal, non-verbal. So there are few types everybody knows, and characteristics of communication also too general. What is in this to study to prepare? Yeah, that is most important. So even though we feel these are too general, but we expect at least 2% from this part alone. Earlier, we there used to be 2%, but nowadays minimum 1% used to be from this part. Right? Every question counts in our net exam. Right? So please concentrate in this meaning, types, and characteristics. We should study from the classroom perspective, teaching perspective, research perspective. Communication it should force you from the classroom, educational institutes overall, and then research perspective. And then second part is on effective communication. So in which we discuss even the types, verbal and non-verbal. We should not think that verbal is effective and non-verbal is ineffective. It's not so. Which is more effective, Nigetamna? Even we can say it both has its own pros and cons. So yeah, in one particular situation, non-verbal would be best, effective. But in few situations, we can say verbal is effective. So within verbal, there are different types. A particular type can be effective during a particular environment, during particular situation. That's why you can't say verbal or non-verbal, which is more effective. It is based on the situation. It has various factors, right? The effective communication is determined by various factors. It's not by the types alone. Right? And then intercultural and group communication. This is most important. Intercultural and group communication. Nowadays, in all educational institutes, used to have interreligious prayer. It's not talking about that alone. So even if you take a high ranking colleges, used to have different set of people in a same classroom, in a same group, right? So how do we make an effective communication through intercultural and group communication mode? So most important group discussion nowadays, even if you go for a post graduation or entrance or any job, there used to be a group discussion exercise. So where do we need to give more importance in group communication? And then classroom communication. This is most important. Whatever we study in this particular unit is focusing on classroom communication. If you see, even if you take the next particular chapter, barriers to effective communication, this also leads to class. This also the question used to be asked from classroom communication, but related to barriers. The question used to be asked from classroom communication, but related to mass media and society. So everything surrounds classroom communication. Classroom communication is most important, even though we have a small part to study, but all other things is focusing through classroom communication as well as related to research, right? As I said earlier. And then barriers to effective communication. There are about 10 barriers, or there are many barriers, but all these things can be categorized under 10, right? So which we need to understand and with some examples so that we can shoot that example to that particular classroom transaction, right? And then mass media and society. This is most important. A newly added one questions could be asked from this. Even what they used to ask something related to channels, something related to digital platform, right? Related to communication, related to learning, related to grabbing attention, right? Once they ask me a question from by using advertisement, and that's also possible, right? And then all social media comes into this picture, mass media and society. Yeah. So am I clear about the syllabus what we are going to cover? Yeah. So whatever you take any subject, please go through the syllabus first. Please go through the outline first, and then get into so that you can even guess how the questions and see some models of questions. I'm not sure, not only saying for net exam, even if you go for any exam, see the models of questions and syllabus and match how it is proclaimed to be in exam, right? How it is expected to be, that is most important. Kandipa palaya question varave varadu, right? It won't be repeated, but same model can be repeated or something upgraded, something next version could be repeated. But please expect what is to be, right, in forthcoming exam, right? So why I'm saying communication is too general, too because everybody knows about during their UG, post graduation, and MPhil, even PhD, they must be studying about communication somewhere. They used to have a continuous touch on that, but still. The net aspirants used to get struggle to select the right answer during exam out of that 5%. So let us get into some of the models of questions. So these questions have been taken out from the net question paper. Yeah, which is the net question paper. So how the questions are used to be. So this is one set. This is one set, which means in one particular batch they have asked these 5 questions. So how these questions is matching with the syllabus outline, right? And try to answer through the chat box so that it's not testing your knowledge. You can assess yourself where are you, right? See the first question. Imagine you are working in an educational institution where people are of equal status, which method of communication is best suited and normally employed in such a context, in such a context. So they have given 4 options: horizontal communication, vertical communication, portrait communication, cross communication. So from which part it has been asked? So it has been asked from the first chapter, right? So what we have seen in the earlier slide as communication, meaning, types, characteristics, and etc. Right? So from there, this has been posted. So can you guess what would be the right answer? Yes. So imagine you are working in an educational institutions where people are of equal status. Which method of communication is best suited and normally employed in such an educational institute, in such a context? So what would be the right answer? Just think of, right? And second question, identify the important element a teacher has to take cognizance of while addressing students in a classroom. Right? When a teacher discusses about cognitive domain element, with a particular subject, right, while addressing the students in a classroom, then which important element a teacher should focus? So is that avoidance of proximity? Second, voice modulation. Third, repetitive pause. The fourth is fixed posture. The fourth is fixed posture. Right? In Tamil, you can say, what is that? அறிவு சார்ந்த விஷயங்களை கலந்துரையாடும் பொழுது மாணவர்களிடம் எந்த மாதிரியான வழிமுறைகளை பின்பற்றலாம்? Simple. The third question, this question is asked from, so which part of the chapter? Which part of the chapter? This seems to be effective classroom communication, but in get into this, it's all related to group communication. This question is related to group communication. The third, what are the barriers to effective communication? What are the barriers to effective communication? Moralizing, being judgmental, and comments of consolation is option 1. Option 2, a dialogue, summary, and self-review. Option 3, use of simple words, cool reaction, and defensive attitude. And the last one, personal statement, eye contact, and simple narration. So which one would be the barriers to effective communication? This question is asked from directly from chapter 3, this unit 4. Yeah, communication is barriers to effective communication. So this is from there the question have been posted now. So which could be the right answer? Just think of it, right? The question number 4, the choice of communication partners is influenced by dash factors. The choice of communication partners is influenced by factors of Sukain dash. So option 1, proximity, utility, loneliness. Then option 2, utility, secrecy, and dissonance. Option 3, secrecy, dissonance, and deception. Option 4, dissimilarity, dissonance, and deviance. So which factors influences the choice of communication partner? This question have been posted from the fourth, which means fourth part, mass media and society. Is this clear? So which one could be the right answer? Just think of. Then question number 5, as a teacher, select the best option to ensure your effective presence in the classroom. As a teacher, select the best option to ensure your effective presence in the classroom. Option 1, use of peer command. Option 2, making aggressive statements. Option 3, adoption of established posture. Option 4, being authoritarian. So this question is posted from classroom communication. This question is posted from classroom communication. This is how net questions used to be, right? You can get 5 questions. It seems all things are related. Just if you think you may get nearer to right answer, that's what you may think. But if you get into the theory part, right, and understand with some illustration and examples, and it will help you to get 5 out of 5 from this particular unit, right? So the answer for this question number 1, you can think and keep your answer, right? At the end of the class, you can explore yourself. Where are you? Right? What is communication? This is a basic thing. What is communication? So communication is a word is derived from Latin word is derived from the Latin word. The term is communis, 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 which means common. Initially, it has been derived from a Latin word, means communis. So it refers to common. It refers to common. So this is how once when I was attending an entrance test, not entrance test, it's an actually recruitment test at St. Xavier College. There was this question have been posted there. I could see this question there and I could find out the right answer there itself. So it was about 3 years back, 4 years back, I hope so. There was an aided post. I tried for, I just made an attempt from Laila College, Chennai, being a group institute, Jesuri Institute. Just some of our faculties tried. There they have posted this question. It's a basic common question. Basic common question. So you can remember the common word. So communication means from the Latin word, the meaning is common. Right? So here the meaning is transfer of. It can be any way. It can be word. Yeah. It can be even mind, through mind. So some people being today as a Valentine's Day, people used to talk from mind to mind. Yeah. They never open the mouth, but still they could transfer what they think. Right. So communication is in general meaning. So it is not only in words alone. It is not only in postures alone. Even feelings also shows communication. If you study the definition, if you go through the definition and meaning of communication, even it includes feelings. Next, there are different types of communication. So in general, we used to say verbal and non-verbal. So under verbal, we can say oral communication and written communication. So under oral, we can say listening and speaking. Listening and speaking. The big art of communication is listening. It's not speaking. Once there was a question related to communication for the research scholars entrance exam. The purpose of communication, the effective communication can be assessed only through listening, not through words or speaking. Or someone used to say, what is that? The orators used to say, no, that he is a good communicator. The orator. It's not so. Yeah, it is based on the listening capacity of the orator. Based on the listening capacity of one person, we can say is that the communication is effective or not. Right? So oral, we have two parts, only speaking, the other one is listening. Listening has preoccupying all other types. Next, under the written, we can say writing and the reading. All legality related communication comes under written type, written communication. Right? I said no. Which one is effective type of communication? We can't say it is based on factors and situations. Sometimes if you get into some legality matters, then definitely written communication is becomes a major more effective than all other things. So if you are addressing a mass, then definitely speaking oral communication comes into a picture. It becomes an effective communication. The content of the speaker is most important. The other classification is non-verbal communication. So non-verbal communication has about 7 types here we have stated, but I will tell you three major type later. Yeah, which includes these also, right? So facial expression is most important. If you get into classroom communication, rather than the verbal, non-verbal plays an important role. non-verbal plays an important role. If you try, if you after net clarity, after net, uh, after clarity, after clearing the net exam or set exam and clearing PhD, if you go for any interview in any college, they may ask you to handle a demo class. This happens to be a general thing in all types of interviews in educational institute. At least 5 minutes they will allot time only for demo class. You can take your own title, your own topic, your interesting topic, and have a demo class. There, most of the panel members focusing on non-verbal communication, right? How the professor or the faculty or the interview is give facial expression, gestures, what does the body language he or she shows, right? How she is so close to the respondents, right? The panel or the students. We can consider the panel members as listeners there, learners or students there. So how do they proximate with their content, right? Proximity doesn't mean that they have to come to the close to that particular candidate. It's not so. Proximity means reaching their minds to so close. And then touch. So are they giving touch means it's not physical touch alone. Touch here refers to have they made any impact in you in this particular 5 minutes. Or if you take a classroom, real classroom in 40 minutes, have the particular faculty have made any impact on you. Right? Did he or she in your mind, touch your mind, touch your heart, right? Something related to this. And then personal appearance. This is most important. Even some colleges used to have dress code for the faculties too, not only for students. Even faculties is more strict dressing rule, dress pattern, right? And some colleges used to have weekend, Saturday college. They used to come with jean, t-shirt. Some colleges never allowed these things because personal appearance is a matter in a classroom. Even if you find some of the ranked colleges, they don't have any chairs for the professors in the classroom. No stool chair for the professor in the classroom, which means the professor have to stand. Right? The gestures and proximity can happen by standing, by making a posture, right? To do a body language. No chairs for the faculties. There may be a table to keep the textbook or duster, chalk piece, etc. Some tools for handling the class, but no chairs or stools. Even there is a special instruction in some colleges not to sit. The professor has to stand for the entire 40 to 50 minutes while handling the class. Right? Which means personal appearance is most important. If you get this quote and if they ask for which non-verbal communication an educational institute uh, insist this kind of practice, it is because of personal appearance, right? Then silence is most important non-verbal communication tool. When we can say is an effective tool most of the time. Silence is a most important tool and effective tool. And most of how it is possible, sir? Classroom, how can a professor be a silent? It's not the entire class hard time, right? So entire 40 minutes verbal communication is also bad, right? There must be a pause and listening. Silence builds your listening capacity. Silence builds your reading capacity. Silence builds your writing capacity. Silence builds your speaking capacity. If you take all verbal types of communication, silence is the one which builds all other things. Silence becomes the base. If you see some of the orators who speaks well in the stage, like even if you take the from the spiritual point of view, Kripananda Warrior, or if you take Sugi Sivam from the generic point of view, or if you take any people and a good speaker in like Solomon Papaya. And there are n number of people in Tamil Nadu itself. If you take any people, they maintain most of the time they maintain silence. சும்மா லொட லொடன்னு பேசிட்டே இருக்க மாட்டாங்க. Right? The orators, அதிகமான பேச்சாளர்கள் அமைதியை கடைபிடிப்பார்கள் தான் quote. They used to keep silence most of the time. Right? If you keenly observe them from the point of entry into the function till they start their talk, they used to keep silence. They may be talking, but by using few words before their regular talk. Yeah. So silence is most important one where everybody should follow. It's not only for teachers, right? But what we expect students to be keep quiet. As a professor or a faculty or a teacher, we expect the learners or the students to keep quiet. The purpose is not to reach our talk. The purpose is they can build their speaking, listening, writing, and reading capacity. Right? Boys, please keep quiet. Guys, please keep quiet. No solradhu. The purpose is not the class is getting disturbed. The purpose is if they keep silent, they can build their reading, writing, listening, and speaking capacity. That's the real purpose of asking them to be quiet. Yeah. So, am I clear? Yeah. So next, let us get into some type of non-verbal communication, which we can expect this type of options in the question. Whenever I present this, because they used to ask generic, we can see all these 7 types of non-verbal is one of the options. But these words we must know these terms related to non-verbal communication. Kinesics, or some people used to say kinesics, right? The Western people, when they handle a training program for an organization, one person came from the New York. He said, kinetics, kinesics, right? But from the Indian perspective, their pronouns used to be different. Please get to know. Then proxemics. Then third one is paralanguage. So these are 3 types of non-verbal communication, under which all the 7 whatever we discussed, this also comes within this. We will discuss one by one. So kinesics, first one talks about 5 types. One is body language. Which shows the people's feelings without communicating them verbally. Yeah, if you see some of the picture which I have posted in this slide. So the first picture without the word we can see so tired, right? Even the second picture says so tired. So the third picture, so I feel so sorry for you, I feel so sorry. The third one, yes, you are guilty. So this is the picture, body language. Yeah, the last picture can we see so lethargic. So lethargic. Yes. So this is also a part of kinesics, so body language. Next we can see called as physical appearance. It's most important, physical appearance under kinesics. So some people used to say, what is that? Samutrika Lachanam. We used to say in Tamil, even Sanskrit, they used to say Samutrika Lachanam, which means by seeing their body, face, eyes, we can say how do they finger size. Even some people used to say nail, right? Finger size, fingers, how it used to be. So based on that, they will describe how a person could behave, right, etc., etc. That's called describing people or physical appearance. Right? So describing people, it could be through their age, right? For example, so with a little white hair and bald person, we can consider them as old, right? And see if you young, how it used to be, and middle age, how it used to be, right? Then built body. So how well built body, plump body, thin and fast, fat body, slim body, how they would used to be. The height, based on height, And based on face, round face, square face, yeah, rectangle and triangle. There are different types of length, long face, yeah, round face. Then nose, yeah, straight nose, hooked nose, long nose, small nose, yeah, turned up nose. Then mouth, large mouth, small mouth, lips, how it used to be, full lips, curved lips, thin lips, ears. Ear, some people used to say, if you have a large ear, it becomes a jnani. Yeah, they used to say in general. I'm saying in general. I don't have any proof, but it used to say, they used to say small ears, right? So these are described how you used to describe the people based on their appearance, right? So you can take either one of this chart which I have posted. Yeah. So how do they express their complexion, right? How they express their feelings through their physical appearance. So some people used to have beard. They would like to have continues to be mustache. They have different format of mustache. So always some girls used to have a pretty beautiful, right? Well, even if they are not feeling well, but they doesn't look like that they are not feeling well because of that prettiness and right. So some people, even if you take some professors, they used to call themselves as simple, and they go to college or their education institute without with two old sad spans and without having good appearance. But they used to be knowledgeable. That is different. But sometimes they used to be too simple, right? But personal appearance it should be good. But I'm saying in general, features, yeah. So these things about the physical appearance in each culture stereotypes. This that please note down that term, culture stereotypes. It says the physical appearance. For example, if you say Japanese, their height used to be less. Chinese, their nose used to be small, right? So culture stereotypes develop that are based on physical appearance, right? If this term comes in question part and if they ask which type of kind six it is, and if they give you four options, you should be able to select the physical appearance as the right one, right? In each culture, stereotypes develop that are based on physical appearance. Next, posture. Yet another important one, posture. So how it looks. A slumped posture is a sign of feeling low, fatigued, and inferior. So some people, what happens? They always close their door of their room, which means if you even 2 days back, one professor asked, one this particular fellow is always keeping. There used to be two doors in the same way, but what happens? That particular professor or faculty, the staff used to keep one door is always closed. He never open. He opens only one door, and in that particular space, he gets into. It also shows the inferiority complex. The faculty asked by showing the other faculty, is he having inferiority or what? Why do he is not opening the both the doors? Why he is locking on daily, always when he goes out? So, for example, some faculties will go as a free. They always keep open. Anybody can get into and anybody can discuss if they and is everything open, transfer. But some faculties, they everything closed. They everything keep closed. Even if they are going out for 10 minutes, they will lock and go. So this happens because that shows that sign of feeling low, fatigued, and inferior. Whereas an upright posture, upright. That's why even when you get into a class, as soon as you get into, students will observe you. In a milliseconds time, they will observe you. Right? The upright posture. So when you get into a class, the upright posture reflects that you are so confident. You are so open to discuss. You are energetic. Happens when you join in any college or schools as a new teaching faculty, new teaching fraternity. The students will observe in milliseconds as soon as you get into the class. Some people, even when they give feedback to a faculty, I used to receive, you are so energetic during class hours. The student used to type, right? So highly close to, highly friendlier to the students. Right? I used to go get into each row and ask, Purida, Purida, Purida. Even though it's an English medium, but I use sometimes Tamil medium, Tamil term. Did you understand? Did you understand? But still I will ask them, Purida, shall I repeat? Should I repeat? Which means it shows the confidence, openness, and to repeat whatever you want. I'm ready to repeat. Yeah, the posture. It also helps the way people walk, communicates how they feel. Yeah, that's most important. The how what he is expected to say is that so important. By the walk itself, the listener could understand, could feel that. When the people are sad, they shuffle along slowly with their hands in their pockets. அதனால ப்ரெசென்ட் பண்றப்ப சில பேர் பாக்கெட்ல வந்து கை விட்டுவாங்க. It may be for different reasons, but psychologically what it says, when the people are sad or they shuffle along slowly, on the kai katikkirathu, what happens? Tying their hands or in front or back side or on the chest, right? So it shows classroom communications is most important. When you get into an interview demo class, they used to observe that when they ask question, panel member posting questions, be straight enough to answer. Be confident while answering. Be transparent if you don't know. Nothing wrong. So don't answer something in general. You are so confident, answer. If you are not, then say, let me refer, sir. I am not sure about this. Simple. So that's what panel member expects. So not only I'm saying not only for interview, even for the student. Even if the student posts questions, don't answer immediately. It doesn't mean that you don't know. Even if you don't know, you just try to make them to clarify among the students, among the learners themselves, or if you know and build this way of clarifying. If you don't know, kindly accept. Yeah, let me refer, boy, and let you know during next class. Let you know. So these are the things is most important. Yeah, during classroom, if you take anything, even group communication, we will be discussing that little later. Yeah. Next one is gestures. So all seems to be same, sir. Posture, gesture, body language, எல்லாமே ஒரே மாதிரி தானே வருது. How it is different, please get to know. இது நமக்கு we come to know as in general there are differences. Yeah, there are differences. So many people communicate with gestures and various body movements. This allows for a person to show different feelings such as anger, sadness, sincerity, etc. So hand gestures around the world, how there are 7 types of gesture. I have posted only here 6, but there are 7 types. Right. So what happens? See, OK symbol, is all right symbol. So mostly it used to come, yeah, challenging symbol, victory symbol, good peace, victory. Right. So in Tamil Nadu, if we show 2 fingers, we used to mean that rettai, but here it is not so. It shows the victory symbol, right? Even if you watch any cricket match or badminton, yeah, you can see some people, the favoring people used to show the 2 fingers, which means the victory symbol, right? Indicating symbol, challenging symbol, OK symbol. Why I have posted only these 4? Why not the other 2? Because whichever is related to classroom, we need to focus on this much. We need to focus on this much. So just after your class, when you were a lecturer or were practicing your professorship in any college, Please, after the class, just review yourself. How many gestures you made in the classroom? You will find definitely, let me say, if it is a first exercise to you, you will find rarely two or three in the entire 15 minutes. And that's what to happen to me. That's what to happen to me. When I was handling first time in Laila College class, when I reviewed, even I did not show more than two gestures in the class in the entire 50 minutes, 55 minutes actually. So there I have posted a girl post where a blue color rectangle have been shaded. Yeah. So there is a difference between these two. Yeah. Can you see? So which means the right side one is so open, so confident, so energetic. Yeah, I'm open to you. Whatever you want, you can get it. You can ask from me. But the left side one, the left girl, which I'm showing by the cursor, so which means there is some hesitation. It seems to be mentally may not be by the faculty within the faculty, but what happens? They used to have from the learners, from the student perspective, they may observe he is so strict on on the content, on the method, on the tools what they have brought. That is different, right? So gesture is most important, right? So if you see some of the trainers from Western countries, they used to employ gesture as a major tool for their training. You take any title, if they come for training or knowledge sharing, and they used to maintain body language. Gestures is most important. Within body language, gesture is most important. May I move to next? Touching. Touching. So it's a common form of body language used to express affection, to express the calmness, and to interrupt. So it could be handshakes, hugs, kissing, pats on the back, right? Western learning it used to be simple for hugs and other things, but what happens in college? So how it's possible, sir? It's not touching, it's not physical touch alone here, what they mean. Even it's a good touch. There are, I said, when we were discussing the teaching aptitude, I said, what is that? Teaching aptitude, I said, there are three types of learners: visual learner, auditory learner, and kinesthetic learner. For the kinesthetic learner, you need to touch by questioning. You need to touch, and if you ask them to move from one place to other place, ask them to come to the board and rub it and write something and give their handshake. They always prefer this kinesthetic learner. Right? So some people used to say after the class, you touched our hearts, sir. Lively class. They used to give comment after the particular term when we get your feedback. I come to college only for this particular hour. My attendance is poor. I come to college to class only this particular hour because you are touching. Because of your touching. I feel happy in during your class hours. I never feel so, but I never felt as a burdened one. So it's touching not only the physical touching, it also a mind touch. Even in medicine word, they used to say, what is that? Telepathy, right? They used to cure through the telepathy. It's true. It's true, but I don't know how far it is true from the medicine point of view, but it's true in the uh, classroom communication, team communication, a group communication. Next, facial expression. This is the next one. These are gesture, body language, facial expression, all two same. Yeah, that's why it comes in kind 6. kind six. All look same, but it has small differences. Yeah, facial expression. Our face is the most expressive part of our body. Hmm. You may ignore hands, yeah, some other things, but we used to say there are nine important parts in our body. Out of that, five is in our head only. Right? So our face is the most expressive part of body. Eye contact shows interest. Eye contact shows interest, creates interest. Even if the student is not interested, if you have an eye contact with the subject, along with the subject, it means you are creating interest on the student. It shows that you are listening. Eye contact, the facial expression, the eye contact shows that you are listening to them. Even if it is nonsense, please talk to me. That's what eye contact. Loping looks into another person's eyes conveys either romantic notion or conflict and anger. It doesn't mean that only the positive thing have to be expressed. It's not so. Sometimes be quiet, the facial expression you can see, right? Or ordering things also we can show through the facial expression. Right? Show anchor through facial expression. It is needed during class or sometime, right? It doesn't mean that you are really anchor, which means your facial expression makes the students that uh, to to uh, to be quiet for some particular time to get your delivery, right? Sometimes this also helps you to control the class where you have hundreds of students in a same classroom. So there are different ways you can express. There are 7 types I have expressed here: happiness, sadness, disgust, surprise, contempt, anger, and fear. So doing invigilation, you can see all these 7 types in a particular classroom itself. Exam invigilation, you can see all the 7 types. In 3 hours, if you go for invigilation, 2 hours or 1.5 hours for MPhil invigilation, you go any graduates, you can find all the 7 types. If you go for invigilation in your school, for the preliminary studies, you can highly find all the 7 types. But if you go for the graduation level, you can find, definitely you can find, but then and there. But if you go for MPhil scholar, MPhil exam, it used to be reduced. All the 7 types used to be reduced. That's what, whatever, if you study and have more degrees, your facial expression comes down. That's why professor, teacher facial expression is too bad than among many other professions. Because they learn more and they reduces their facial expression in the class. It should not be. Yeah, it has to be balanced. Second type, first one we have seen kinesics. The second one is proxemics. The second one is proxemics. It is a study of how we communicate by the way to use the space. By the way we use the space. The distance between you and others. That's called proximity. Proximity in the word is called a degree of closeness. That's called proximity. And the same term here we use proxemics, right? How you arrange your furniture and other objects for social interaction, and how you respond to the invasion of territory, right? The space, right? Even they have scientifically they have proved with some space how it reaches to others. If it is 1.5 feet or 45 centimeter, you can say it is an intimate space. If it is 4 feet distance, then 1 to 2 meter, then it is personal space. Personal space. So if you're a student sitting beyond 4 feet from your place, then it becomes a social space, which means 4 feet to 12 feet comes under social space. That means 3 to 7 meters beyond you. Then public space, if he sits beyond 12 feet, it goes to the public space. People always want to sit in the last bench. Why it is? So if this question is asked you in net exam, definitely when we prepare mock exam, We used to collect questions from different faculties, different experts from Madras University and from other colleges, from Delhi. Some faculties used to share their expertise to questions through mail. Simple questions, but when you get into the option, definitely you will get confused. Right? Why do a student or anyone, if they get into a particular meeting or classroom, first they will choose the last bench? Reason is they would like to be in public space. Reason is they would like to be in public space. They would like to be so open. At the same time, they have a more strength than the others. It is true. Another syllabus wrong. Last bench used to develop in their life, in their career, irrespective of their knowledge, skill, and attitude, because they grasp a number of things apart from the classroom, what is happening in the lecture more. So don't hesitate the last bench student, but at the same time, you should bring them into your personal space. You should bring them into your personal space, not by order. Not by order alone. It can be in initial days, it can be even it could be an order also to come in front and sit. That could be an order. But it should not be a repetitive nature, but the system has to make him to come and sit in front. Right? The teacher have to plan their lesson in such a way to deliver according to the participants. Once I went to Madras University for handling net classes, net coaching class. There are about 350 candidates. 350 candidates in a big hall, conference hall, and it cannot say is intimate space, but you can say, but you can't say everybody could be in personal space or social space or public space. One group of guy came from the last morning. I used to handle two sessions, morning and afternoon. Morning I started the class, the last bench. I used to note the last bench because it used to be visible, so visible for me. I used to interact with them. Interact means not really reaching them, but what happens whenever I post question, I used to post on them. So what happens? Their face used to be known to me little on our class, first 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I will come to know them. So what happens in the afternoon session? The last bench guys comes to front and occupy the chairs. So surprised to me, which means I am really receiving them into my personal space. Yeah. So they would like to come first without any order or without any say. That's how it has to be. Right? So the classroom have to be defined and designed, whatever may be. தெருக்கோணல்னு சொல்லக்கூடாது, உனக்கு ஆட தெரியல. We used to say, no, ஆட தெரியாம உனக்கு தெருக்கோணல்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. It is not so. But for a teacher, whatever could be the seminar room or conference room or classroom, rectangle size or circle size, or with bench or with sunlight, whatever may be, according to the situation, the professor have to plan to deliver the content. Use the environment as a friendly one to you for delivering your knowledge, delivering your content. Arrange the furniture according to your need in such a way what you need to, what it has to be, how it has to be. Once I attended an interview, what happens? The panel member kept 4 colors of pen on a chair which is away from the whiteboard. I supposed to handle a demo class, right? So the pens or different colors, whiteboard markers are a little away, but board is left to me, right? So which means as soon as I get into the class, I should observe what are the learning, what are the teaching tools available in the class in the particular room. Yeah. In few minutes, you need to observe and you need to plan mentally how you are going to access that. Okay, you may start your demo class. You should not search the white mark or duster or something, and then moving here and there without any plan. Right? At the same time, they also monitor which color you choose for explaining your content. How do you use different colors? You understand that there are different colors. Then how do you use different colors to explain? both for the visual learners, for the audible learners, and for the kinesthetic learners, which question you post. In 5 minutes demo class, everything could be observed. So it happens to me. So when we handle a training session for a college, new faculty develop TP program, when we used to address them, yeah, for these things we used to address them and we used to train them. Or faculty at the classroom, left side learning what it means, right side learning what it means, central learning what it means, which one is most effective. Yeah, so that's how we need to be equipped. Faculty, as soon as he get into the class, he goes and sat in the bench. Then what it means? So everything has. Some faculties used to get back to the backside of the classroom and stand at the last and deliver. It also happens sometimes. So what it means? When it could be best, right? That also could be best, but when it could be. So proxemics makes an important thing. Proxemics means degree of closeness. Degree of closeness. So whatever I say is, it's not only for the physical, it includes the mental also. Right? I am away from my students during pandemic period. So even I could say about 1,000 kilometers I was away. But what students say is what they feel, I am so proximate to them for the class, for their assignment, for their exam, for their test. Right, 6 o'clock message goes to them, by greetings them, by having a greeting, by saying good morning, with a small reminder to complete your assignment, my dear boy. Like that, a message goes. He feels that I'm so proximate to them, where other faculties did not follow. So sometime we have surprise message used to go. Today we are going to celebrate the birthdays of three of our class students. Let us celebrate with joy and pleasure. Like that. Likewise, I used to say I did not mention who are those students, but they used to know. Some people used to know. Some people used to search. So as soon as they get this message, immediately they will get up into the group and they will share who is that, who is that. Likewise, the interaction will go. Sorry saying, but we do not know. Some people will say, right? After half an hour, a message will release to them saying that the student's name and their department number and their date of birth and with a greeting card, right? E-card. It means we are so proximate to them. So then there is a different explanation of the distance, intimate, personal, social, public. So please make a note. Sometimes this distance it has not asked it previous class, previous net exam, but it could be, right. Next, paralanguage. Paralanguage refers to all vocal components. Paralanguage refers to all vocal components of speech. It reflects what a person is feeling. You may not be knowing the language, particularly the English, you may not be knowing, you may be suffering from the language, but it is different. Paralanguage is different. Paralanguage talks about, yeah, so it has six part. So how you deliver your speech. That's why it says vocal components, all vocal components reflects what a person is feeling. First one is pitch, the high pitch and low pitch, and the medium pitch. The sound, modulation. There was a question, did you observe? When I was showing the model question, voice modulation was the answer for that question. Yeah, out of five, voice modulation. Pitch, the high pitch, low pitch, and same modulation will not work out for the 15 minutes in a classroom. Even if you may deliver, but it will not be received. Right? Second one, resonance. Resonance, which means the richness or thinness of your voice. There is one faculty at my college, too old physically but too young mentally. When he gets into class, when he speak, it reaches till the end, and it even motivates the voice itself motivates the students to listen. That's called resonance, the richness of your voice. Some people used to talk. Even it will not listen to the first bench. Sometimes the first bench students will struggle to listen to hear the voice. It happens. Thinness of your voice. Right? But thinness is not a matter. If you have a voice modulation with high pitch and low pitch, definitely it reaches. Right? Then the articulation, the way of enunciate, what we used to say, enunciate. Initiate. What is that? Articulation. How we make, how do we articulate through our voice, through our thoughts, right? How we makes the students to articulate. Then tempo, the speed at which words are spoken. Right? So at the end, the flow, the words flow so fast. The teachers believes that I'm delivering in the right way, but the students knows that the professor, the lecturer is little fast to complete that particular subject or particular part of the syllabus. Right? Tempo. Then volume, the loudness and softness with which you speak. The resonance is different from the volume. Please understand. Sometimes the students, that the teacher, the faculty volume could be more. Volume அதிகமா இருந்துச்சுன்னா, it means that class is ineffective. Teacher's volume அதிகமா இருந்துச்சுன்னா, the class is ineffective. That's what when we posted the teaching aptitude lab, I started with some questions. Do you remember that? What is that? Which classroom is more effective? Teacher voice is more and student voice is less. Student voice is more, teacher voice is less. Teacher voice and student voice both are same. Likewise, I posted different options, right? So their volume differs from resonance. Then rhythm. The emphasis placed on different words and cadence of the speech. Being English, faculties would understand this, the cadence of the speech. Rhythm. So these are called as paralanguage. So pitch, resonance, articulation, tempo, volume, rhythm. Right. So let us summarize the importance of non-verbal communication. So non-verbal communication is essential to fully understand your message. So without non-verbal communication, you are not communicating your message fully. So Albert Mahrabian, during 1968, he analyzed and released a research, right, between two people and concluded that the total impact of the message was divided in this way. Verbal, it reaches only 7%. The words, the paralanguage, it reaches 38%, whereas the body language, it reaches to 55%. Please keep in mind when you get into a class, if you are a professor or if you are becoming a professor, when you get into a class, your words, it reaches only 7%. Another, nowadays, lecture mode is not a best mode for a delivery of your content. Paralanguage is most important. 38% is weightage. These are weightage. Right? Body language has a huge weightage. 55 or more than 50%. More than one third paralanguage. Less than 10% is words, verbal. Next is the most important is listening, attending, and responding skill. So these three major components in types of communication. So we have completed verbal and non-verbal. Here I am presenting the process of learning. There are three stages of learning: listen, attend, and respond. What do you mean by attendance? In a class, is not number of students appearing in the classroom. Right? Listening, next stage is called attending. First you should listen. So some people used to come to class, some students, and sleep. Morning I go on to class, coaching class, I'm so tired, I did not sleep night. தூங்கிட்டு இருப்பான். Then after the class hours, he will come, sir, attendance, sir, you put me absent, sir. Attendance means is not sitting in the class, is the attentiveness in the class. Listening, attending. The third one is the learning curve is more flexible and towards upward only through responding skills. Through responding skills. That's why sometimes I used to ask the students to repeat what I say. If someone fails to repeat, purposely I will play with words. If someone fails to repeat, which means you are not listening and attentiveness, no attentiveness in you. So let me test your listening and attentiveness capacity. Then I will start the class with a small brainstorming exercise with some walkie-talkie exercise. And then if we continue the class, the responding skills used to be generated from the students. They will respond for each and every discussions what you emulate. Listening skill is most important. How do you listen? That's most important. Listening, you can test the listening skill. So listening, it happens, how it goes in and how it goes out. So listening is different from hearing. Listening is different from hearing. Hearing means கேட்கிறது. Listening means கவனிக்கிறது. தமிழ்ல சொன்னா you can understand better. கேட்கிறதுக்கும் கவனிக்கிறதுக்கும் difference. Someone lost their purse. Some important thing, someone lost. Person வச்சுக்கோமே, he lost. He or she lost. Right? Then most of the people surrounding colleagues எல்லாருமே வந்து தேட ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாங்க. They were searching, they could not find. Yeah, one who is so close to that particular colleague, he came and he searched, he found immediately. Then everyone was praising, எல்லாருமே தான் பார்த்தோம். How did you get this? Then he replied, நீங்க பார்த்தீங்க, நான் தேடுனேன். Did you understand? Yeah, நீங்க பார்த்தீங்க, நான் தேடுனேன், which means searching is different from seeing. Likewise, hearing is different. Listening is different from hearing. Just hearing, it doesn't mean that listening only build attentiveness, not hearing. So key elements involved in an effective listening, attending, and responding. Right? So how do you improve your listening, attending, and responding in a classroom? First and important element is first assume the role of the listener. First assume the role of the listener. That's most important. Assume. Your assumption may be wrong, that is different, but you assume. Possibly have a rational assumption. Then maintain eye contact. If you have eye contact, what is the result? If you don't have eye contact, what is the result? So sometimes having no eye contact also will review result in particular situation. When I was entering the class, when I entered the class in about 5 years back, yeah, new class to me. So as soon as I entered, and started the subject, starting a small exercise, and then started the subject retailing management. I wrote on the board retailing management. I was just turned and started to write retailing management. There was a sound from the back side, left side, back side, left corner. No sound of this, which means the students would like to make fun of a particular situation. And I listened that, I understood that students would like to make a fun of that particular moment. Then I was continuously writing. I did not even turn. I was just shaking my head, which means I'm accepting your sound. Then again, the same boy or some other boy, I was not knowing, but again that a particular group, a particular student said, made some other noise. Then after completing my writing, I turned right and I said, very good, my dear boy, you have a good capacity in performing your cultural activities. If you have not please built your cultural performing cultural capacity in the stage, you have a good future. I said just by showing my hand towards that particular side. I did not pinpoint a particular student at all. I did not have I did not show my eye contact to find who is that. I did not search everyone. But the boy he himself he got up and said, I'm sorry, sir. Even that time, no problem, my dear boy, no need to worry. It's your capacity to prove. Actually, you have been misplaced here. You should come front and please accompany me during the class hours. I invited him. Then he was in the struggling mood. He was not too happy, but at the same time, he's not too sad. He was showing some shyness, and then he was so jolt with me. He came to the class. Whenever I get into, he is the one who invites me first into the classroom. He used to sit in front and enjoy the class. Right? So maintain no eye contact also works out. Right? Third one, avoid word prejudice. Word prejudice. This is most important. You don't decide. Yeah, please avoid prejudice. Word, particularly the word. Then fourth one is use minimal encouragers. Use at least minimal encouragers. If you get into yes, கண்ணுக்கே தெரியாத ரீசார்ஜ் பண்ணோம்னா கங்க்ராட்ஸ்னு சொல்றான். Only love. We have paid for our recharge mobile, but he says congratulations, your mobile is recharged. So we do not know who is that person at all, but he says an encouraging term for your recharging the mobile. So please use some minimal encouragers then and there during the class, to build listening, attending, and responding capacity. Say, oh yes, yes, good. So sometimes I used to have yes, good, even without the response also I used to have, so that the students will induce to respond. The fifth one is paraphrase what was said to ensure understanding. Right? Paraphrase whatever you don't have a continuous lecture. Then and there stop, have a pause, and have a full phrased presentation. It could be an elaboration of minimal encourager, or it could be also key phrase plus personal observation. The sixth one is try to ask questions to improve clarity on the statement. Seventh one, use empathy to reflect and share feelings. Empathy is different from sympathy, right? Use empathy, right? Sir, I did not attend the class. I did not. I'm not feeling well. I need to sleep. Yesterday morning I went to coaching class. Yesterday night I did not sleep. Let me sleep, please. Don't show sympathy. Okay, boy, go and sleep last night. Don't show that. Don't say that. So be empathy. Oh, is it true? Okay, go and have a face wash and get back. If you like, let me give you a chocolate and please be attentive in the class. That's called the empathy. Sympathy is different from the empathy. Right? So use empathy to reflect and share feelings. Provide feedback then and there. Why you are so active? Yeah, it's you are providing feedback. He will start to listen and start to at least respond. Right? He will show his attentiveness. You are giving feedback to different people, but the entire group will respond to your feedback. Summarize the content of what was said at last. That is most important. Right? Summarizing. Next, based on purpose and style, the types and kinds of communication can be different. Right? There's formal communication and informal communication. Formal communication, whatever I said, what is that? Verbal, written, oral, comes written communication, and what is that? Reading, it comes in formal communication. Whatever you receive from through the organizational structure or through some more well-established mode, it comes as formal communication. But informal communication, there are three types: lateral communication, diagonal communication, and then grapevine communication. So informal communication is most important, which plays a major role in any type of organization, right? Even in family, even in friends, So informal communications is so flexible, it's so effective, right? Lateral communication. First type is lateral. Lateral means it's also called as horizontal communication. I talk with my other colleague, other faculty, right? Yeah, group of faculty will discuss. That's called horizontal or lateral communication. Same category of people. So if I talk with my friends, it's a lateral communication. If I talk with my wife, it's a lateral communication. But if I talk with a diagonal, which means if I talk to deputy principal informally, I'm saying informally. If I meet a deputy principal on the way and says greets him as a happy Pongal or something else, and says some have this common chit chat, then it becomes a diagonal. Grapevine communication is just like that flow of words in a group, irrespective of the people. Right? Grapevine. This is most important. Most of the time, this question repeated in NET and SET exam. Grapevine communication is a part of informal communication. Purely based தமிழ்ல சொல்லுவாங்கல்ல, it's nothing but grapevine communication. ஒருத்தரை பத்தி purely based ஒருத்தரை போக sometimes we used to play a joke to explain the grapevine communication. Right? So what happens? A group of people will be sitting. One person will say, "I'm so tired. I would like to have food. Let me go to home, buy and so to and the group will talk about him and laugh at him. Right? I'm not saying it's a bad talk or good talk. Either one, they will chit chat and so make fun of him. Then immediately the next guy will think, I'm so thirsty, but I don't want to go. They will say, which means a grapevine communication is simple. So it's highly informal communication than other two. Right? So the other types of communications are external communication and internal communication. Right? External communication and internal communication. So external communication is among government agencies, customers, clients, public. Right? PRO, there used to be an designation. Even nowadays, education institutes used to have a PRO, public relation officer. Right? So it could be a question in mock test. We will build this question. Next, the PRO is designated in any educational institute is for DAS. Let me have four options for increasing the admission. Likewise, there used to be a general four options. So if we come to know PRO, the customer, the government agency, but PRO plays a role on external communication. And then internal communication within the business. So it could be a formal channel or informal channel. If it is a formal channel, it could be upward, downward, horizontal, or diagonal. So that's what I said. No, diagonal means what is that? Horizontal means lateral. Upward and downward is the same structure, but the curve is different. One is upward, the other one is downward. Diagonal is upward downward is also called as vertical communication. Upward downward both comes under vertical communication. The horizontal called as lateral communication. Diagonal is star communication. The grapevine is informal channel. Right? Some questions have been asked. It seems to be simple. Downward communication, upward communication. கீழே இருக்கவே மேல இருக்குன்னு சொன்னா upward communication. The top, the superior, if they communicate to the foreman or the factory, the team members, then it becomes downward communication. Simple than கேட்கலாம், but there used to be a question in NET exam, right? In an educational institute, I have posted, right, for the model question. The first question is about this. So downward communication is highly directive from senior to subordinates to assign duties, to give instructions, to inform, to offer feedback, and approve, to highlight problems. Downward communication. Right? Whereas the upward communication is a non-directive in nature. Non-directive nature. Right? From down below to give feedback. So feedback is highly accessible and flexible in dash type of communication. Then upward communication. To inform about progress or problems. Reporting skills comes under upward communication. Seeking approval. Right? And then lateral or horizontal communication happens among the colleagues. peer at the same level of for information level, for information sharing, for coordination to save time. So this happened. The UGC net, when I showed the first question, that comes under horizontal communication. The answer is horizontal communication, right? Because among colleagues, peer to peer, same level, right? So sometime in classroom we used to say peer group learning, which means a good student, good, no, it's not a good student, a well-versed student with the subject, he will teach to the other student. So that's called peer group communication, peer group learning, peer group communication. So it is a part of lateral communication or horizontal communication. Right? Am I clear? Yes. Have any doubt as of now? Or am I flowing my thoughts? Yes. So based on the hierarchy, it works out. Yes. So what is I can see this chart and see which one is comes under downward and upward. Yes. So if you see the organizational structure, so it works both vertical and horizontal. Rendu organizational structure will work out. Right? So downward communication, upward communication, and horizontal communication. Next, this is next important elements of communication. Elements of communication. There are 8 elements actually, but here I have posted only 7. Yeah, 8th one I will tell you. So what is that? Yeah, you must be so equipped with the communication. What is that? I used to draw this in the board and take a picture and keep it in my profile picture normally, the communication process. Right? If you see a chart, you will understand better. A sender, receiver. Sender, receiver. Right? So what happened? A message, there is a spelling mistake, I think. Message, and the message used to be encoded. It comes in between sender and receiver. First stage. A sender builds a message. The message is encoded, means translated or transformed in such a way to make the receiver to understand encoding. And then they use particular channel to communicate. And then decoding. Then it goes to receiver. It goes to receiver. So shall I repeat again? What is that? The first one is sender, message, encoding, then channelization of the message, and then decoding, and then receiver. It goes to receiver, right? And then it comes to feedback. These are the stages of one element. You can keep it in order, right? The 8th element is, which I have not mentioned here, but mostly it used to be in question because barriers of communication, right? It used to be a part. So that is nothing but noise. Noises. The 8th element is noise, right? So sender, message, encoding, channel, decoding, receiver, and then feedback. So noise may fall any of these stages. Noise, any of these places it may interrupt. Right? Noise makes us to transform our communication as a communication barriers. So what happens? The decision to send message about something, encoding the message by the sender, and the channel through which the message has to be sent, and decoding the message by the receiver, internal response to the message. So it happens. These are the six stages I said, sending the message. So what happens here? For example, Tamil people and the Hindi people, two individuals are there, Tamil and who knows Tamil only. The other one is the who knows Hindi only. Both are the Tamil fellow would like to communicate a message to the Hindi known people who do not know Tamil. So how it happens? The sender, the Tamil individual, will construct a message by using his own colloquial language, Tamil, half English, half Tamil, and some Hindi term. He do not know English, Hindi flow, but he knows some term like calling as G, some terms. Right? He just makes a polite, makes us a message, and communicates. It becomes encoded. Encoded means that's what he is matching with the message is a content. You would like to say, you would like to have a tea along with that particular individual. So that is the message. Then he is encoding with some English term, some Hindi term, most of the Tamil term. He becomes Tanglish or English or English or whatever may be simple. That's called encoding. Then he uses a channel, either a mobile or some way to deliver the content. And the receiver definitely he do not know the language, but what happens, whatever he says, he would like to encode for his understanding. He would like to decode. That's the he would like to decode. Sorry, I said encode. He has to decode the message and then receive it. Then he has to respond. Then he has to respond. Yes, shall we have a tea or no, little later, or he has to respond it. So it comes as a responding or feedback, right? So if but in between, if anything disturbs, it could be that could be called as barriers, right? So mostly it used to be a physical barriers or the noise or if it is other than that, the language could be the barrier, right? So we can take this example to explain a number of barriers in the next upcoming slides. Next, characteristics of communication. Characteristics of communication. So it is too general. Why do we need to have? There is communication means there should be two or more persons. It's general. Why do we need to? Yes, there is a question. There used to be a question from the characteristics also. It has been asked. Even that question, we also got confused to select the right answer. It happens to be, right? So அதனால எதுவுமே too general நினைச்சிட்டு we should not leave that. So characteristics of communication, two or more person. Please try to remember. Right? And then exchange of ideas, mutual understanding, direct and indirect communication, continuous process, use of words, symbols, feelings. So to remember all these things, I have made a small exercise on. I have made a small exercise under the characteristics of an effective communicator. Right? So an effective verbal communicator can be with a clear, and the first letter now, if you add, you will get clear. An effective non-verbal communicator, if you add all the first letters, it's called roles. The roles and clears. In the word listener can remember all the. It's called a mnemonic words. Teaching aptitude, memory, different types of different styles of memory. I was explaining about mnemonic words. M starts with M letter, but M is silent. NEMONIC, right? Mnemonic words, which means it's a shortcut to remember. So clear and roles. Clear is about verbal communicator. Non-verbal communicator plays a role. Right? A reason why I have made this clear verbal communicator is always clear with understanding, but non-verbal communicator, the role of the non-verbal communicator is most important to deliver the content. Right? So an effective verbal communicator has the following characteristics: clarifies, listens, encourages empathetically, then acknowledges, restates or repeats. restates or repeats. And then non-verbal communicator characteristics could be relaxes, opens up, leans towards the other person, establishes eye contact, shows appropriate facial expressions. So these are so altogether you can find here 10 characteristics. By using the 10, by using the clear and rules mnemonic words. Regularly, if I build you 5 questions, I will be difficult to answer. General the what happens? Sometimes students used to say questions was too general, sir, but answers are too confusing, sir. It happens after net exam. They used to call me and give their response, yeah, their feedback on their net questions. They will say questions was too general. Most of the questions too general, but we could not answer effectively because the answers were little confusing. Can you answer these questions? These two questions I have asked from the characteristics, from the previous slides only, from the last three or four slides. Yeah. So questions used to be general in the but we will get confused. Right? Please try to answer these questions. Now, did you find the answer? Which of the following are the characteristic features of communication? Which of the following is the characteristic features of communication? So, what would be the right answer? Communication involves exchange of ideas, facts, and opinions. Is this right? Communication involves both information and understanding. This is right. Communication is a way, is a continuous process. This is right. Communication is a circular process. Then check your understanding, and finally find out the. This is called a descriptive model question. Right? We have options later. There are four options: A, B, and C, A, B, and D, A, B, C, and D, A, B, C, and D. So which one is the best answer? Then you need to choose. Then there is an assertion reason model question. Formal communication tends to be fast and flexible, whereas the reason says that the formal communication is a systematic and orderly flow of information. Right, orderly flow of information. For the question one, what is the right one? Option 4 is the right one, which means all the four options, whatever A, B, C, D, all the things is a part of characteristics of communication. The second question, formal communication tends to be fast and flexible. It is false. Formal communication tends to be slow. Faster or the chance should be slow because it has to go according to the authentication, has to be received and it has to be published and they have to give some date. Formal communication, legal documents, it used to be slow and not flexible. It is so rigid. Formal communication is so rigid. So assertion is wrong. But if you see the reason, formal communication is a systematic and orderly flow of information. And orderly, yeah, this is correct. Reason is correct, but it may not be the correct explanation for the assertion, but reason is correct. So here assertion is wrong, A is false, but reason is correct. The option 4 is the right answer. Option 4 is the right answer. Am I clear? So even if you know the names and the contents with the example, you could answer all these two questions. Fine. So am I clear as of now? Is there any doubt? So next one is intercultural communication. Intercultural communication. Yes, intercultural communication. Any idea about this? Recently, I read a novel. If it is possible, you may also try. What is that? The novel name is Pondichi. The novel name is Pondichi, written by Ali Fatima. Written by Srimati Ali Fatima. It was a good novel about tribes lifestyle. The novel talks about a family and social and cultural groups of a tribe right nearer to Kerala, and then it also has a love. It has varieties of the things, and at last we learn a lot. Intercultural communication. Okay, if you study that novel, the novel has about 176 pages. 176 pages. It took me only 1.5 days to study. It was good. Like watching movie. It was a good. It started. See, who has written the novel has started well with a dream, and the end note is also excellent. So in between you can see varieties of the Palangudi மக்களுடைய varieties of the socio-cultural beliefs and democratic systems can be viewed in this novel. The name is Pondichi. The heroine name is Pondichi. The name of the novel is also Pondichi. It's a good, it's an excellent novel. If possible, please go through. Right? It takes only hardly 1 day to read. Right? So intercultural communication studies often focus on how cultural groups differ from one another. How cultural group differs from one another. So here intercultural communication has been defined in many ways, from a pattern of perception that influences communication to a site of contestation and conflict. To a site of contestation and conflict. For example, in a hotel establishment, the hoteliers assess their customers' requirements, taste, and provide services accordingly. The customer also inform the hoteliers of their needs so that they can serve better. Right? So some people would like to sit down and eat, but there are some places who forgot how to sit down. They will sit only in the dining table. Even in India, there are some places people have forgotten how to sit down. It happens, true. So intercultural communication plays an important role. When I have completed my post graduation in the year 2003, and I joined a fellowship program provided by Sir Ratan Tata Trust, where I have joined. I wrote a test and participated in the group discussion and interview. Finally, I have been shortlisted. I gone through the entire program. That was a 1.5 years program. Diploma in Development Management, PGDDM they used to call it. So for there, the class, how it starts, 1 week village stay program. 1 week village stay program, where 3 students used to be sent to a interior village. So I was allotted to Ramanathapuram district, where the village name is Usilankattu Valasai. That's a fisherman's village, fisher folks village. We went there, 3 students, all the 3 were boys. Myself from Tamil Nadu, one from Kerala, and the other one from Karnataka. 3 of us do not know their other languages. We knows only Tamil. Myself, I know Tamil and English. English, that too basic during that time in 2003. And the other fellow, Kerala, he knows he is well Malayalam, right? He knows Malayalam and he is also good in English. The Karnataka fellow is good in Karnataka and a little good in English. So we were together in the Uslankattu Valasai, is interior village where there is no mirror to see your face. So we were there for 7 days without seeing my own face in the mirror. Yes, such an interior village. If there is any two-wheeler, if any two-wheeler comes, if someone comes in two-wheeler, then we go, we search the two-wheeler and find that and to see our face, to comb our hair. That happens. We have never combed our hairs during the entire week. We have tried doing first one day, second day, later we don't have mirror, then why should we comb the hair? No? We left that. So it happens to me. So there we learned a lot. The 1 week program, we learned a lot. Intercultural communication. No homes will have fan, even light also is too minimum, but they will have TV and VCR player. Yeah, so funny, no? The house itself is so small. Everybody can see the TV, can watch the TV only from outside. Because outside நல்ல spaces இருக்கும். வீட்டில் வந்து டிவி இருக்கும். But the one particular time, everyone will gather in that place outside of that particular room. They will watch. ரொம்ப வீட்டில் TV and VCR they used to have. Because most of the men went to foreign, for abroad, migrated. Families here, right? They will bring all the foreign items, but no good facilities, right? So the fencing all beautiful, natural fencing, right? Seashore sand. So we used to sleep in the home where there is no door, right? Intercultural communication we learned. That's called from a pattern of perception that influence communication to a site of contestation and conflict. We rarely find our stuff. Some field staff who deputed us there, they used to come once in 3 days or 4 days and they will ask, how are you? How was the food? We used to eat from their own particular home, fisherman home. Right? So tasty food, even the simple but tasty food. We enjoyed a lot the entire week, and the main role is we need to document each and everything. The entire process have to be documented. We had a wonderful experience in the starting of that particular course. Intercultural communication. It plays an important role. So it builds a lot of skills, right? Types of intercommunication skills. So one is personal character, like communication ability is not limited to recipient, situation and time. Please understand, this is the basic understanding you should carry. Personal character like communication ability is not limited to the recipient, situation, and time. Second, communication skills suitable to situations independent of the receiver or receivers. For example, public speaking, group meetings, and job interviews used to follow under this category. The third one, communication based on the audience, single or many receivers. So, for example, a stranger, superiors, it may happen. The fourth category, communication with a receiver about a specific situations, while being constrained by time. So, meeting with a superior in their office update, just starting moment at 6:30, closing time of office. Just I would like to have few words with you. Okay, tell me. Likewise, it used to happen. So these things also part of different types of intercultural communication skills. Right? So I think we are a little backlog. It's not possible to complete the entire communication today's class. We will have one more class, right? To have good examples little in forthcoming class. Group communication, classroom communication, which is most important, and then mass media, right? So let us discuss those things in the upcoming classes. Yeah. So do you have any doubt as of now about as of now till now what we have discussed? What is communication? What are the different types of communication? Even I have quoted most examples and illustration from the classroom perspective, from the teaching perspective, and then characteristics of communication, right? And the non-verbal, we have learned a lot of things. And last, we ended up with intercultural communication. So, intercultural communication meaning and types, right? With examples. So, let me stop with this for today's session. So, if you don't have any doubt, let me sign off the day. Or if you have a doubt, I welcome your fullness doubt. So I hope if you have a doubt, anytime you can WhatsApp me or chat with me. You can send your doubts or clarifications. Right? You may feel something better than what I said. Yeah, that is always encouraged. Thank you. Have a good day. Have a wonderful weekend.